Top of the morning, ladies. My name is Chaz, and welcome to the first episode of What If Deku was the, or more accurate term, or it's had basically Flash's powers and the so basically he also became a gun, so or goddess to be critical. So and this what if I'm trying to base off of or like Zuko from or no like a Flash from the Justice League Unlimited when the Flash uses the Speed Force at full strength. So, but he also is the smartest one. Like, forget like Ida Tenya. Forget like Momo and whoever. Or like all those smart, it's just like all those smart people fused into one body create a super genius times 9 point infinity times. So basically he can process every word down to a like basically if tons like 2-ton tunic or so he's really smart. Like he could he could say every word in about 5 seconds. Or let's say if down to like into sextillion of a second. So that's pretty fast. So basically when he was born, his parents were scientists. They're not like crazy scientists like in my what if ones. What if Deku was a Nomu and had a sister one? And he has, of course, when they were just child. I'm also adding someone from the anime or different anime to be in this anime. So basically, her. So she and Zuko were just toddlers. They grew up together. Like hers, she has a power of weapons. So basically, she can pull weapons out of thin air and use them as her like offense or defense. Kind of like Momo, but without showing a skin or like ripping clothes. Weirdo. Homo. So, but she's also smart. She's also at the same level as her, or as Zuko, but she only focuses on more like combat ability. So he or when they were three, no, 4 years old, or actually their mothers, no, or like each other's, like Zuko knows, or like Inko knew her mother. But in this what if I'm using like the one of the One Piece ones, basically her as that girl's mother. And she was friends with Inko for quite a long time, since they were little toddlers. And when they were growing up, they like still had like they were best friends, like super. So then Inko like and her knows that probably their kids will oh, like go on a date and get married to each other's, as he can predict it, as so Inko was like happy for that. But the court doctor says that Zuko has a infinity, or not an infinity. Let's say he, or sometimes I say that he, or some what if say that, sorry, Inko, your son doesn't have a quirk kind. So I'm just adding that in. The sorry, Inko, your son can't or doesn't have a quirk. But and Inko knows that he has a, or actually he asked him, asked the doctor if can you like check if he has a unique attribute or skills, because in this what if the doctor decides to, sorry if I'm breathing in the microphone thing. So the doctor says, of course, as he went and checked if he has a set skill in his molecules. So when he saw like what Zuko had, he ran over and or not ran. He didn't run over Inko. That would have been insane. So, but he's told Inko, your son's molecule, like he has a new skill in his molecules. As Inko says, that's good, right? Of course. Your son's the first one that actually has a skill in his molecules. As Inko was shocked. Not shock, like in static shock. So he says, how many kids they don't have. You said he's the first. As the doctor tells her that he or everyone else doesn't have a skill in their molecules. They all have normal quirks, like common quirks that goes into their pinky toe, but his skill is actually called Speed Force Ultimate. And he doesn't have just one. He has 4 of them. So basically, Inko's saying, basically you're saying that my son has 4 unique skills, right? Yes, in his molecules. Let me explain for what the other 3 are. So these first one, Hun, as he says, was Speed Force. Second one is Infinity, Self Revival, and the fourth one is Shapeshift. Basically, Inko is shocked because she even because her friend, she has 2 friends, Bakugo's mother and I forget her name. She's probably always forget her name. They don't tell us, or can you even so Amderbo, or I think that's her name. That so her mother and them. Sorry, I know I'm not smoking it today. So she actually, when she heard about what Zuko has, as she was also shocked because she couldn't believe that her future son-in-law has a skill that allows him to shapeshift. He's also super smart and he's way faster. As she says, wow, your son's pretty powerful for not being. That's probably a good trade off. He doesn't have a quirk, but he hits a skill. As Ingo says, yeah. But I still can't get over that. As when Bakugo, his mother, said, or what, after she told Bakugo's mother, and she was like, I would rather had your child than Bakugo. As Bakugo was at school at the time. So so Inko knows that her friend would rather had her child than their. So Bakugo asks, what is your quirk? Or do you have a skill in your molecules? Or do you have a skill? As Deku says, well, it's a good trade-off of a common quirk for a unique skill called Speed Force or I actually do have 4 of different skills in my molecules. As Bakugo was like, wait, you have 4 skills? And how is that a good trade off of your quirk? Well, actually, or in this time, or in this what if, Zuko actually has a quirk that no one knows about, as it's called Heaven's Light. Or actually, I was gonna name it Gun's Power, but Heaven's Light, more accurate term. So, he. So. So Zuko has 2 friends, Bakugo and the Herm. So both of them really like each other's. Or like her and Zuko. Well, really like each other's. As so they when they reach 15, he actually created a vice in his own like bedroom is like a time anchor for him. And so he wears a necklace around his neck, or he tucks it away, that it doesn't like affect his. So Zuko was basically, he runs faster than Ida, but he ends up got less points than anybody. But it was an error for them. So basically, they put him in Class 1B. As someone hacked into the mainframe thing and copied the data before and put Zuko in the Class 1B. So then, yeah, I know. So they were like, okay. So he says, okay. But only person that is in Class A is his girlfriend and future mother, or actually future wife, more accurate term. So he ends up, or actually ends up joining the Class 1A. Sorry. So at the USJ, or I'm skipping the heroes versus villains and that quirk assessment test because 1, it's lame, and 2, I don't want this to be a super long video. So the Zuko and his girlfriend, like both other classes, went to USJ and got ambushed, but Zuko, out of nowhere, there was a like something pushed just the creature or the villains, all the villains back without Mr. Aizawa and the 13 even doing anything. As then they see what was attacking the villains. It was a giant Megalodon, like basically. Do you see that one right there? He basically sending, or all of them are, all the villains were sending flying backwards, left and right. So then Zuko, as he, like, what the heck just happened? As they're like, we don't know what happened. And only thing that came out was a Nomu that looked like gonna tear the Zuko's face off. Or actually, the Nomu went after Zuko, like grabs him by the throat, hanging or like holding him up, as he basically, or one of the sharks, or let's say there was two sharks. One of them was destroying the villains, and the other went and like ate the Nomu's head, and he was like, or Zuko was like, as he was breathing, as his girlfriend runs over and like and checks on him, like, okay, Zuko, as he's like, I'll be fine, just let's get out of here before they decide to have their lunch with us. As they all like left, as he was like, sheesh, as Eraserhead says, lift your head, or as he sees it was black and blue arm, or like from that Nomu's like grip, as he was like coughing out like some serious blood, as they took him to the doctors. Of course, Class 1B was so worried about him, as he says, hey guys, did you find that kind of odd? There was two sharks, or two air shark things, and then that Nomu came out of nowhere and attacked only Zuko. As Class 1A and 1B were like, yeah, you're right. That why did that Nomu go after Zuko? And why did that shark not attack us, but attacks that Nomu? As his body or like, and only person that copied the who was at the highest one was, of course, All for One. And ends up like, Zuko, you will be the number one hero. As the quirk doctor tells them that he needs only rest. That his insides of his throat were letting him heal. As they're like, okay, hey. As only people that really, of course, the doctor saw her and knew that her mother she has her own company, but so she tells the doctor that, or actually her mother told her, or told the doctor, if as she walks in with the doctor and she saw what happened. Basically, his entire neck, I'm trying to zoom in, his entire neck area was black and blue. As so Inko was like, I can't believe my own son, or someone, or who did it. As, or actually, she couldn't, or his own, or hold on, let me rephrase that. His own girlfriend says, I don't know what they did to you, but I'll make sure that they pay. I'll train hard. As he was. So the next day, he got super healed. Like his wound that around his neck was already healed before. As he says, as his or in that in that when he was sleeping, he saw a mythical creature. As it was, guess what it is? It's basically a kind of destruction, and also was a kind of speed force. So basically, he talked to Zuko, or he was god of everything. So basically, he says, or actually, he transformed into a blind man, as he says, "Oh my, you have a strong will." As he says, and the doctor didn't tell you about this quirk that you have inside your body. It's inside your heart. As he points a finger, or at Zuko's chest. As Zuko says, wait, what do you mean? It is a gun quirk. It allows the user to basically, or or actually it's called a heavens quirk, but so heavens quirk allows a user to it basically become like the entity of life, destruction, everything. As he opened one of his eye and says it can also change the future, go into different universes. It says, but when you leave, you will never return. As he's scared out of his mind, as the man says, you aren't ready for that power, aren't you? Don't worry. You are ready. Just you don't even know it. You are scared. And as he says, and you were prepared for it. As then that, and so then when he woke up, he was breathing so heavily, like, as he says, what the heck was that? As the nurse got him and got the doctor and says, well, you're lucky that you're alive and you healed so fast. Most people are in a coma for 2 days, or no, for 2 weeks, but you were in right after that accident of USJ. Yeah. But is, as he says, is a class 1B alright? As they said, yes, they'll be fine. And don't worry, Zuku. It was just you that got super injured. We were, so as Inko, so the doctor called Inko. As Inko shows up, all worried, as she gave Zuko a hug, and she couldn't believe that, and what those things did. As then Principal Nezu got called, and because of that, so All Might shows up and says hi to Zuko and greets him and basically does all that stuff. As he didn't tell his mother or anybody that he has a quirk that's too powerful. So basically, he kept it to himself. As so then the sports festival, Class 1B student says Zuko's gonna be late. As it was him. As then she says that he won't be late. well, we couldn't see him for 2 weeks. Or we haven't seen him since USJ. As he tells Inko that he has to go to a sports festival. As he's jets in and got his school or his PE clothes on. As he says, "Are you ready, guys?" As all of them are like, "Yeah, let's do this. Let's crush Class 1A." And it's good to see you back, by the way. How are you feeling? As he says, "Well, I hope that none of you have gonna do what that Nomu did." As they said, "We won't. We also won't let Class 1A do that to you either." As the midnight ain't tells Zuko that he's gonna take a speech thing. As he says, "All right." As he runs upstairs and he says, "Hello, everybody. Welcome to the sports festival, and I hope that you all enjoy the sports festival." As he did such a good speech that everybody's are lost in their words. So they yay at him. As Tinya, or actually not Tinya, so actually they spin the wheel and it lands on run. It's basically similar to Cannon, but so Zuko got first place, Ace, followed by Bakugo and Todoroki. And during the cavalry battle, his team won, and so basically his team was her and Ochako or actually, yeah, Ochako and Dark Shadow. I'm changing the Maya, MEI, to someone else's team. So, basically, he won. Or they won because how smart they are. So, basically, he used the power or a skill of infinity. So he basically made his team float all the way. And he's made a platform. So he's basically. So Bakugo's all upset and tried to fly up there. But. And All Might gave his quirk, or actually, he still has this shit because he believes that Zuko would be the good choice one. So he did. But he wasn't ready to be like handled with that much power. As they were like pretty smart. So then now it's a fight one, and Brain Dude who forfeited his match. Then Todoroki was upset at Zuko because, or actually not upset, but he's more of like, okay, this class 1B is a loser anyway, so he tried to make him embarrassed, as Zuko basically ran up to him and punched him in his chest, sending him flying right out of a stadium. It looked like that scene from like Seven Deadly Sins, where, spoilers, Meliodas punched Bon out of a ring. Basically like that. But Todoroki flew out of the ring, hitting like 20 buildings. As he says, well, should have just held my punches against Todoroki. As an Endeavor was upset because he told him, or actually he was blaming himself. Why, you may ask? Like, he went from like, alright, Todoroki, use your aims. And then when that one punch, as that's what he did. Like, what the heck? As Todoroki got knocked out and landed in the near the UA, but like gets hit in a wall. So he says, gets round 5, or round 1 goes to me. As Midnight says, yeah, but before you go on that final round, hold your punch, okay? As they said, okay. Or actually, Todoroki, instead of hitting a wall, he actually hit Hero Killer Stain, basically knocking his butt out. So, Tenya's brother was able to run up and grab Hero Killer Stain and Todoroki, and as he was basically like One Punch Man. So he basically Bakugo was up next, against Dark Shadow. But it's similar to canon, but Dark Shadow... Actually, Bakugo knocked his butt out. So then Zuko became first place in that. So he says, how about flicking? Boom! As he flicked Bakugo's explosive move, that one that he spins around and impact kind. Explosion, impact! As Zuko used his own power and he flicked Bakugo all the way into upper atmosphere. Or actually knocked his butt out. He's like, huh. Well, as they all had that face of what? How powerful is he? Why is he in class 1A or 1B? He should be in class 1A. So then Camp Park, similar, but the Muscular got defeated real quick. And then he ends up, of course, one of the pussycats, or not, or always call them wildcats. So I need to look that up. Hold on, give me a minute. So, do monetize. Wait, what? I got it correctly. I call them wildcats. I used to call them that since I saw the anime. So sorry about that. So one of the wildcats that you saw was, where is she? Basically, her told Zuko that don't worry about your quirk. As she tells him that don't worry about your quirk. We don't know how it works. So just focus on your skills. Because she could read his thoughts. So he's like, okay. Actually, she told the other wildcats to just leave him alone. Just let him train on his abilities, his own pace. As he was like, okay. And plus, he decides, okay, that's cool. That's cool. Sorry. I just had. So Zuko got captured by those villains, and so All for One says, you're the class A 1A student. Or actually Zuko says, I'm actually class 1B student. Well, that's only to trick them. See who's the one where they had a glitch. As Zuko says, or is it, or he's so calm that like, huh, was it you that did that glitch? Like copy the original information and change the original before you like or after you copied it? As he says, yes, it was me that did that. Zuko Midoriya, or should I say, kind of speed or speed gun. As so, then the doctor, uh, or actually, when All Might he breaks in and like fights against All for One, then All for One says, "Before we battle, All Might, how is that class, or how is class 1A for you? Or how is class 1A for the without Zuko going there?" As All Might says, "Well, oh, he is not in class 1A." As Mr. or All for One says, "Well, ha 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 ha," as he was laughing at All Might. As All Might says, "Why are you laughing?" As All for One says, "Well, did you witness any glitches in your or in the computer software thing?" As he says, "Well, no, but oh, let me tell you something. Your student is actually class 1A student." As he like used one of his fingers, or like he flies over there, like as All Might says, "Is this another trick?" "Oh, this is not a trick, All Might. It's simply good information for you to basically do what you would need." As he gave it to him, as All Might sees the original data, as he, "Where did you get this from?" As he says, "Oh, I was the one that copied it, and after that I also changed it so that Zuko is class 1B student instead of class 1A student." As All Might says, "You blast." I said blast instead of that other word because I don't want my video to be demonetized. I won't. And speaking of this video, the my original plan got deleted. So basically, my original plan was to have so Zuko, who, or they said that a class 1B student is, or so All Might like got, or actually All Might got knocked out, but before he got knocked out, or no, after he got knocked out, but he all for one was gonna do the final blow, but Ku like took a hit for him. Basically, as more blood came out of his body, or blood came out of his body, as they were like class 1A student and has spared your life, All Might. I'm just gonna give him a choice of fight or flight. As Zuko was basically is so confused, as he says, or actually he runs away, and or as he says, I knew it. As All for one says, I knew it. He chooses flight than fight me, because his chances are absolutely 0% chance of him exceeding. As then they hear a large boom sound. As it was Zuko, as he runs faster and faster, like he goes all the way around the entire globe, like what the Flash from that Justice League Unlimited did, as he took pieces of All for One's arms, or pieces of All for One's body part off. And basically he says, or when he basically does the same thing, but he says, ready for your, as he does like the same thing what he did to Lex Luthor. Not kills him, but so he basically made Zuko made All for One younger, like a toddler, without a quirk. Or basically, or actually into a kid that's like 4 years old. As he took his quirk away and crushed it, as he was doing like that, but he actually, when he looked at All Might, he was like proud to be like a hero, as he sticks his thumb up, as his last words were, I'll be back. As so All Might decides to kill All for One. The kid or All for One, and basically killed All for One. As then the machine thing, I'm talking slower now. So basically, I know it's a 1 hour mark, but that machine right there activated and it sent Zuko back as a adult, like basically him, as he walks out of his bedroom. Inko sees him, and she thought that there was a traitor, or she thought there was a someone broke into her house. But then when she realized, oh wait, that's Zuko, as because he grabs her arm before she even, as she says, "Calm down, mother. It's just me." As then when Inko knew from his hair that it was her son that has returned from the grave. Remember what or he actually says, remember when I said, I'll be back? I mean, literally. It literally. As Inko was giving Zuko a hug. As so he basically, his quirk of heaven, like basically his like heaven quirk, fused with his skills. So he has 5 unique skills in his molecules. Basically, he can also use the power of and to bring himself back. As so, or before, or switch over to All Might before. After All Might punched like All for One to death, basically made him into a bloody pulp on the floor. He basically picked up that, like what Zuko supposed to be in, and shared it with Nezu, and Nezu, well, now knows that he needs to update his system. So he basically updated a system, or like rebooted, and it was back to the way it was before. So then Blood Hero, got told, and then Class 1B got told. So they're like, no matter. So they couldn't believe that Zuko, or they couldn't believe that Zuko died, but man, the Zuko who wanted to surprise his girlfriend and his friend and Bakugo about him reviving. So he basically says, well, guess I'm off to school then, right? As Inko says, yeah, don't be late. As he ran all the way to principal's office before, as he told, or actually, no, or actually, Nezu told, or saw, when he saw Zuko for first, or since after his death thing, as he says, "I'm on in, huh? Hey Nezu, what's up?" As this some random guy just walks right in, as he says, "Whoa, did you do something with your body, by the way, Zuko?" As it, Nezu knew Zuko when he was just a toddler, as because or when he was when he, so they so All Might saw him and like, whoa, did you, yeah, what did you do? Did you go to like workout gym or thing? As he says, no. Once I or I do have a quirk, by the way. It's called Heavens. It allows me to basically, I'm basically now a nun of everything. So, and plus my self revival, I also made a time anchor for me. Or the time thing. So, Nezu says, good to see you. As long as you're alive. That's okay. As he says, you're in class 1A. As, thank you. Huh? As his girlfriend was in class 1A. Only person that was not post, or was actually class 1B was Monoma. Basically, Monoma got bumped down to class 1B. So, basically, yeah, I agree. So, sorry. So, they were all sad and that Zuko died. But then he basically knocked on a door, and only person that really answered it was her. Of course, Eraserhead knew something was up, so he told her to get the door. As she walks up, and when she pulls the door open all the way, then she became she was basically met by a tall dude. As he says, "Hey, what's up?" As it, Bakugo, only people, or so he was got a nosebleed. He, as everybody's like, what the heck happened to her? As she, as he walks in, sorry about that. As she had like those anime like thing girly eyes, the ones that like spins around and with a nosebleed thing. So basically she had she couldn't believe that her own boyfriend is alive. As when he walked in, Bakugo gonna go looked at him like, "You almost gave us a flippin' heart attack, you jerk!" That's what Bakugo is saying to Zuko. So, Bakugo was really, really ticked off at how Zuko was. As Mr. Aizawa says, "Welcome back from the land of the living." As he says, or you should have said, "Welcome back to the normal world." Sheesh. As he walks in and like took a seat, and every girl is like looks at him, including his like girlfriend. Like they were like all confused, like, how is this guy still alive? And so after school thing, Tinya walks up to Zuko and says, "How did you survive that? You were mostly bloody before." As he says, "Well, I am the most powerfulest one." And so as he like tells him that, hold on, before I tell you, you have a speed quirk, don't you? As Tinya says, "Yes, I do, sir." As he says, "Huh. Well, I hope that you don't yours. I can tell that you're a normal speed. You have your own speed quirk instead of what I have." As Ida Tinya says, "I know that you have a speed force quirk or skill that allows you to go twice as faster than me." As he says that, as he says yes, and it's a really good quirk to go around. But I'm glad that someone has that other quirk, or as their quirk. As Tinya says, "Thank you. My brother also has it too." "Yeah, but you're the first one that I know that has that. So, I'm being honest with you." As Tinya says, "Okay, so let's go train." "Yeah, nothing. I'm trying not to go over my. I was trying not to go over my limit before, but now my speed force is now my. It is still my skill. Now I gain a new quirk from that portal, or from that speed force dimension that I went to." As everybody looked at him like, as some of them are like, "Tell us more, please, please, please." As he says, "Sure. See, each one second, see," as he says, "Look at the clock. So each second in this world, or actually he says each minute is an in this world is just a minute. But in that speed world, is one whole day in that world. As so like 3 minutes hence in this world, but 3 days in that world. As that's how I train my body. Plus, I because I have met all of you, and I did not know all of your powers, but all your powers became my new unique skills. So basically, night. So he basically evolved into that guy because of all their quirks. Became his skill. Oh, now, as Fremen's like, really? As he says, yeah, it's like, it's a good trade, but it's not like bad and trade. Like, he told Fremen that she's excellent at jumping around, and she's pretty good, or her quirk is pretty good, as that's actually a compliment to all of you. As he basically went to a training field with the entire Class 1A. As his body, or his feet, became like frog legs. As he jumped all the way in to the moon and back. Or before he actually could survive, as he grabs a piece of the moon. As he jumps off, lands straight back on his feet. As he used his hardening skill to basically harden his body to, like, his hardening is like between sorry about that, his his steel quirk and his rock quirk really, really hard. So basically, he made that one moon rock into a indestructible thing that could. So he basically used I always keep doing that. He keeps using Todoroki's as ice, fire, and everything. And he walks up, before he forgets, he walks up to Todoroki and says, sorry about that thing at that sports festival. As Todoroki accepts that, as he says, as long as we're friends, that's what's the most important. As they were pretty powerful. So they all became friends. Him and Class 1B and Class A became friends with Zuko. So, but they agree, or actually Blood Hero and Eraserhead says, or actually the they or Blood Hero asked the entire class of what do you want to do with, as they all said, we'll make sure that Zuko doesn't reach his limits on his speed thing, as he actually explains to them what his own speed force does. I can also teleport to different multiverse, where I actually was in one before, but I don't want to see that ever again. As, sorry,